Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Uttapata Kamalan Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishagan Vidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Bandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Govigaganta Radha Kanta Namastade Tattaganjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshari Vrishabhanu Sure Devi Pranamai Hari Priya Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Pritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivajari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Nama Eva Kevalam Kolam Nastyeva 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 Gatyalanyatam Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we are very blessed to be in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, started by Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And so we have the opportunity to serve the Lord by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, who has given instructions, guidance, how to worship the Lord. And so ultimately, this movement is the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Kali Yuga avatar, who is no different from Sri Sri Radha and Krishna, the divine couple. So, yes, a few words in regards to deity worship, specifically making turban. So first of all, yes, so the mood, what is the mood while dressing the deities? So we may say that it's a process of deity worship. It is not just I'm going to dress the deities. And now, who are we? We have to perform our devotional service nicely. And then we should, well, theoretically we know that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. And then there should be some realization. And then we may be able to approach the deities, the Lord, and then engage some practical service in regards to the Lord. We should understand that, for example, Radha Krishna, who is serving Radha and Krishna? The eternal associates of Krishna and Braj. For example, in the morning time. So Krishna is taking a bath in the morning, and then, of course, in Nanda Bhavan, the house of his father Nanda Baba, and then Maria Yashoda is there supervising the whole show in Nanda Bhavan, and then different assistants are there, male and female, to do the various services. And similarly in the bath of Krishna, under the dressing of Krishna, some of the associates are there of Krishna, and of Maria Yashoda, the assistants are there, like Kundalata, Dhanishta, they may help. At the same time, then in Varshana, the abode of Srimati Radharani, her father's palace is there, and her friends are there, Lalita, Vishaka, and other gopis, Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, and they are engaged in the seva of bathing Srimati Radharani and then dressing Srimati Radharani. Sometimes the divine couple, they meet at the Jamuna and they take a bath there. And then mainly the gopis are doing the seva of decorating the divine couple. So, in other words, we have to ultimately be absorbed in Krishna consciousness, and then we may be able to serve, understanding our position that we are the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. So in regards to practical application of deity worship, so we are sadhakas, practicing devotees, and we know Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Srimati Radharani is the beloved of Krishna, the internal potency of the Lord. And of course in the beginning, so the conception is there that just like Lakshmi Narayan, so the Supreme Lord and his eternal concept, Lakshmi is there. So in that mood we worship the deities, we decorate the deities, always remembering the spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, the Acharyas, by whose mercy we are able to serve the Lord, practically. So servant, so we are engaged in the service of the Lord, assisting the spiritual master, by the order of the spiritual master doing the worship of the Lord. So guidance has to be there from the spiritual master, how to do it, or the representative of the spiritual master. So Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru may be there, or the advanced devotees who are practicing since many years, who are experienced in deity worship. So under their guidance we may learn, and then we may engage in serving the Lord. And so it is a process known as Pancha Anga Puja, 5 limbs. As explained, you're not just starting to dress the deities or just going on the altar and doing artik. There's a process of preparation, abhigaman, right early in the morning. So we offer obeisances to Guru, Gauranga, and Krishna. We take a bath, put on fresh clothes, and when we are clean, then we can go to the temple, approach the Lord. Abhigaman, now going to the temple to worship the Lord, or at home it may be. So we must be prepared. So trying to remember Krishna and being clean internally and externally. And then we, upadan, we gather all the articles which we need, just like now in dressing the deities. So of course first usually is abhishek, bathing of the Lord, and then the dressing. And so we collect all the paraphernalia which we need. And then yoga, the process of purification. Achman, we chant Achman for purification, and then we chant some mantras. So we may be established on the spiritual platform. Again, that is important. Yoga, to connect with the Lord, to be situated on the spiritual platform. Then we can serve Krishna. If you are on the material platform, the Atma Buddhi, material consciousness, we cannot serve the Lord. We must be situated on the spiritual platform to some extent. So at least theoretically, so we know we are not this body, we are spirit soul. At least before we start the puja and while we do the puja, we should be aware of our constitutional position as eternal servant of Krishna. So that is known as yoga. And then Svadhyaya is also an important aspect. Svadhyaya means self-study. We have to study the scriptures. We have to learn about deity worship, how to perform devotional service. And the Yuga Dharma is the chanting of the holy names. We chant nicely Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So when we chant nicely, we study sufficiently, hear about Krishna, like Prabhupada has explained in the verse about Navavida Bhakti from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Savanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Parasevanam, Achanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyamatma, Nivedanam. We hear about the Lord, we glorify the Lord, we chant holy names, we remember Him, and then we can worship the Lord, the lotus feet. Then we can engage in archan. Prabhupada has given a nice purport in this regard of Shravanam, Kirtanam, and so on. So, if one is fully absorbed in hearing and chanting about the Lord, or remembering the Lord, then we can start worshipping the Lord. And offering prayers. Dasyam, in the mood, I am the eternal servant of Krishna. Sambandha Gyan. And then we can worship the Lord. And yes, so that is Vaidhi Bhakti. And then, of course, we may have a more, in purified consciousness, it becomes more intimate, more spontaneous, following the eternal associates of Krishna and Braj. And then we may be fully dedicated and surrendered. And then actually the seva will be complete. So the more we advance, the more the seva is actually complete, accomplished. So Krishna is very merciful, and also so the spiritual master. And so even in the beginning, so Krishna will accept our seva. Even sometimes you may see that even children, they want to be engaged in seva. And to some extent, Krishna is accepting it also. Krishna is extremely merciful. So pastimes are also there in this connection. We don't have so much time to explain everything in detail, but just some concepts. So the consciousness must be good, and then when one is in good consciousness, one can properly worship the Lord. And then the different services are there from morning till evening, waking up the deities, doing Mangalatik. And then we have the puja, the abhishek, and the Shringar Seva, that means the bathing and dressing of the deities. And then various other services may be there during the day, and then the evening time we put the deities to rest. So the process is there. And then we may be able to have the proper consciousness to address the deities. And yes, and try to decorate the deities. And so the utmost humility must be there, and knowing that we are insignificant. And ultimately then by Krishna's will, then we may be able to assist in the service of the Lord, and that the Lord will be very beautifully manifested, dressed up. So sometimes devotees you hear, after dressing of the deities is done, then they're coming out, Prabhuji, you see how nice are the deities? I dressed the deities today. I dressed the deities. No. You have the opportunity to help in doing the seva to the deities. So, but ultimately, who is doing the seva? The eternal associates, they're doing the seva. And we are in apprenticeship. We get an opportunity to do some seva by the mercy of Guru and the associates of the Lord. We are just learning how to dress the deities. And so the more we have the proper consciousness, then Krishna will be beautifully manifested, and he will look very amazing. And then you may see Krishna as he is. So the proper consciousness is there. So the das anudas, consciousness has to be there, assisting the spiritual master, assisting the eternal associates. But then also practical guidance has to be there, how the dressing should be done for the deities. Of course, first of all, vidhi, so the rules and regulations or the process of deity worship is there. So the Saupachar Puja, offering of 16 items, welcoming the Lord and so on, and then you may bathe and dress the deities, which is most pleasing to Krishna if we do it properly, which is the most important seva throughout the day and evening for the deities, is the bathing and the dressing of the deities, Abhishek and Shringar Seva. So, and certain things we have to, of course, under the guidance of the experienced devotee, we may learn. For example, when we put on the dress, so then, for example, the dress of the color is there, whatever it may be, and then, for example, the jewelry should be matching. And so usually we hear Krishna's dhoti is yellow in color, and the chadar also. And so the kurta may be a little different color, and the turban, he may have a red colored turban. So that is there, that is also mentioned in scriptures. But Krishna is not always wearing yellow, but that is his favorite color, because that is Srimati Radharani's color, so he likes to wear yellow. and Radharani's color of the dress is blue. And then, so because that is her favorite color, because that reminds her of Krishna, who is bluish, black in complexion. But other dresses are there when Krishna especially is meeting Radharani, the gopis at Radhakund at noon time, and according to where they perform the pastime around Radhakund, in which kunja, where the gopis are having their kunj, their abode around Radhakund, and they have different colors. So according to that, we may have different dress also. So that is explained by the acharyas. So the point is about the colors. If you have a yellow dress and a little blue color and little green color in the dress for Shyam Sundar, and it is a gold embroidery work is there, then the jewelry should be similar color. Then, for example, should be golden ankle bells, gold-plated, and then, for example, then also the bracelets. It may be also made with stones, so it should be matching the dress, and the necklaces also should be matching the dress color. If you have the yellow dhoti with little blue and little green inside, these are the main colors. Then you don't have the pink necklaces. It would not be matching. Of course, different people have different conceptions. They may be there. But then best to do according to the person who is looking after the seva. At home, of course, you can do whatever you want, but still, you should have some idea. And then similarly, Radharani's dress will be blue, and then some yellow inside, some green. So usually, even when we make the dress, so it's a kind of combination is there. It should be matching. So that is an art also. I believe Prabhuji's wife has given some idea there, or will give some idea in regards to color combination, or then, specifically in regards to the turban. So it should be a kind of symmetric. It should be flowing in a certain way. So that is there. And again, the cloth of the turban should be matching the dress. That is usually what we do. Then it will look more beautiful, more pleasant. So it is explained that Krishna in the Nectar of Devotion is a meticulous dresser. He can dress himself up very nicely himself. Purna Purushottam is perfect and complete. And he can do everything. He created the spiritual world and the material world. So, with its variety, which is wonderful. Even the material world is wonderful, and it's simply the perverted reflection of the spiritual world. Amazing. So he can dress himself also up very nicely, very meticulously. And sometimes he's decorating Radharani also most beautifully. And therefore, Krishna should be dressed up very nicely, or Srimati Radharani, for example. So we have to see them, and that you don't see the blue tack when you put the earrings or rings, or you don't see the pins when you hang the cloth, or it should be elegant, and so it should be in the flow, like when you hang the chadars, it should look nice and it should look natural, and so proportionate. So it is an art actually. Some devotees are more gifted and they can easily learn how to dress the deities, decorate the deities, because of their nature. But we can learn also to some extent by attending courses, and then you may be able to also do the seva nicely. Shringar seva, in Sanskrit we say, or in Hindi language, Shringar seva. So it is a seva, service of the decoration of the Lord. And we're just instruments in the hands of the Spirit Master of the Lord. So, and of course, the internal potency is there of the Lord, the Lila Shakti, so by which everything is happening. So we are insignificant servants of the Lord. That should always be remembered. But we take some guidance from the experienced devotee, and then So, and then we know Krishna as a flute and Krishna as a peacock feather in the turban or the crown. So similarly, the Radharani also, so she has, and Krishna is a Kaustuba Mani and Radharani Shamantak jewel. And so accordingly we try to then do according to scriptures. Like it is mentioned, Radharani, she has 2 rings on the right finger of her hand and she has 5 rings. So 1 ring on each finger of the left hand. The description, the descriptions are there, what she's wearing, what kind of earrings also, and different kinds of earrings. And that, for example, in Vrindavan, the shopkeepers, because they are trained also by the spiritual master, or by, the forefathers who have been doing under the guidance of the spiritual master, so they will also make the proper jewelry, how to make the deities also, the jewelry, the dresses. So that is usually also under the guidance of the spiritual master, under the guidance of the great personalities who have some knowledge. And then so making the turban, so for Krishna. So basically Krishna is beautiful, most beautiful. And so we should not think now we're decorating the deity and Krishna will be very beautiful. Krishna is beautiful, always. Even when Krishna was in this world, the pastimes are there of Krishna's when he's a small boy. So sometimes Krishna is walking around naked, as sometimes small boys in the villages are doing, and he's most beautiful. But then if he has a dress, a beautiful dress, oh, that's nice. The dress is blessed to be on Krishna, even that is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. The ornaments are not beautifying Krishna. The ornaments are becoming beautiful because they are on Krishna. And very more fortunate, the ornament is there on Krishna's body. And in the spiritual world, everything is conscious. The flute is conscious also. And then the gopis are thinking, oh, the flute is most fortunate. The flute is always with Krishna. And Krishna is kissing the flute, and Krishna should be kissing us. So, and the flute is always with Krishna. When he's eating, he's putting the flute and his between his dhoti and the belt. Or even when he's sleeping, he has the flute under the cushion. So, and even all the ornaments, they have a name. So Krishna's flute, different kinds of flutes, and they all have names, different names. And then, so then there's a necklace known as choker in Hindi, necklace for around the neck, and that has a name. The bracelets have a name. Everything is personal and conscious. It is simply wonderful and unbelievable. Even his crown, how Krishna's crown is shaped, that is also mentioned in the scriptures. In Vaikuntha, everything is straight. The crown is straight. Vishnu is looking straight. But in Braj, Krishna his form is bent in 3 places. Tribangla Chana Sundar. And Krishna has sidelong glances. He's talking to his mother. But then Radharani is at the side, and so he's talking to his mother and looking at Srimati Radharani with sidelong glances. So similarly also the mukut is not just straight. It is in 2 parts. One part is a little bigger than the smaller part, and always looking towards Radharani. Sometimes there's one crown with one part looking towards Radharani, and Radharani's mukut crown is looking towards Krishna or Chandrika. So similarly also the turban, so that has to be, so we have to be reminded that you have the cloth, you have usually traditionally Krishna, when he has a turban, mostly it is one cloth he's using. Maybe sometimes 2 pieces of cloth, and he's wrapping around. Now in India, or in ISKCON actually, there's a new fashion. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 clothes. I'm putting that together. Sometimes Krishna may have more also, but I never read or never saw that Krishna has like 5 kinds of cloth, and they put them together and then all kinds of things. So we have to be real, according to Shastra. And so what is mentioned in the scriptures, the descriptions are there. Or even some traditional pictures are there where Krishna's beautiful form is depicted, is painted, and his dress or his mukut, his crown, or his turban are painted. So usually according to Shastra previously. So we should always try to follow Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, and yeah, so that is important. So even turban pieces are there. Even the dressmaker, they know different shapes of the turban pieces. And always on the turban, a peacock feather must be there, one or three or five. Or sometimes they have a turban piece and they have maybe, usually uneven number of peacock feathers are there. And then you place so for Krishna's turban also, for example, it should not be straight and everything like two pieces on each side and it's looking like it is going straight. No, it should be a little uneven and going towards Radharani. And there's always one peacock feather going towards Srimati Radharani. So Radharani, mostly Radharani also has a peacock feather in her crown, but not always, but many times. That is mentioned also in the scriptures. Sometimes in Radharani's braid, Krishna is putting peacock feathers. So we go according to Sadhu Shastra, according to the descriptions in the scriptures, how Krishna is decorated. Like it is mentioned also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in Venugit, 10th canto, 21st chapter. So Krishna is a gop, right? Cowboy. He's the Supreme Lord, but he's eternally also a cowboy. 11, 15 years old. So they have the ropes for tying, two ropes actually they have. One for tying the legs when they're milking the cows, and then one for sometimes holding the cow. So sometimes Krishna has one rope on the shoulder. So when you dress the deities, you may sometimes put. And then sometimes he has one of the ropes on the turban. So sometimes you can put the rope on the turban. That is there in the scriptures. Similarly, the same 10th canto, 21st chapter is explained that the turban is also decorated with flowers and leaves from the forest, because he's going to the forest. He's picking up some flowers, putting on his turban or in his hair above the ear, and the leaves. And why? Because he's reciprocating with all the associates, the trees. They're waiting for Krishna to come and for Krishna to touch them or pick their flowers or take some leaves. And Krishna is taking some leaf from one tree. The tree is so happy. Oh Krishna, my life is successful now. Krishna took one leaf from my body. They're conscious. Satchidananda Vigraha. So Krishna is then decorating himself, his turban also, sometimes a little bit. But at home, so the associates are there. Or when he's at the Jamuna, the gopis are there decorating. So if you have the knowledge, and then you have heard, you have read, and then you chant Hare Krishna, the Maha Mantra, and then you can remember these things, and then when you dress the deities, that will come in your mind, and then you will have the proper consciousness, and then Krishna will look as he is. So that is the process, that is the mood, how to worship the deities. So therefore, if you want to be a good pujari, you have to hear about Krishna. You have to hear about Krishna and Braj, and especially, of course, his most beloved, the gopis, who are most beautiful and expert in serving Krishna. And in decorating Krishna also. So these are just a few points. Of course, so much more to say, but the time is running out. It is 7:05. So if anyone has any question, so you may ask. Any question? Hare Krishna. No question? Everything is clear? Fine? Hare Krishna. Oh yeah, one question is there. Anju? So you have to unmute yourself. क्या हो गया? Hare Krishna.
प्रदीप प्रभु आवाज सही से नहीं आ रहा आप लोगों को.
Now is okay?
No, it's always okay, but can you hear us?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. So Anju Mataji, now you can ask.
Because of this, huh?
Yes.
Only audio.
Huh? Okay, yes. Anju, you have to unmute yourself.
Hare Krishna, Panchan Pranam Prabhuji. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very clear. Yes.
So Prabhuji, we have, in our native, we have deities around 75 years old. So they have been worshipped like generation after generation. But I'm not an initiated devotee. So now the process of purification and all, like while doing the archana, whenever I am in native, I do the seva. So I do not follow the general norms like purification process. Like, okay, whatever I do, like my cleansing inside and outside, that's okay. But then we do just simple archana, simple abhishek with the water.
Yes.
And tulsi dal.
So you do Achman for purification?
Yes, Prabhuji, I do Achman.
Fine. Yeah, that's okay. And then you may chant one mantra, like even I can tell you one nice mantra which we can chant. So you may fold your hands and then you repeat after me. Gurave Gurchandraya Radhikaya Tadariya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yeah, so simple mantra you can do at home, and then you may do the worship. So like when you have deities, so first of all you have to do Guru Puja. You have to respect your spiritual master. If you are not initiated, then you offer flowers to Prabhupada. You take his permission so you may be able to worship the deities. So that is the process. And before you worship the deities, so you should fold your hands, and then you should offer at least one mantra in glorification of the Lord. If you have Gonitai, of course you may say Nama Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namari Gaurati Se Namaha Vandasi Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Saudita Gaudarai Pushpavanto Chitro Sandotamarado. So you offer pranam to the Lord. And actually we should remember the Dham also. If you worship Gonita, you can do Jaikar, Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Because the Lord is in the Dham. So the Dham has to be there in your consciousness. And then you can worship the Lord. And for other Krishna mantras may be there for Jagannath. Om Dilachai Nivasai Nitya Paramatmade Balavadam Subhadabhyam Jagannataya Te Namaha. For Radha Krishna, Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dino Bandho Jagatpate, and so on. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari. First pranam has to be there. And then in elaborate worship, you do swagat, the welcome, you wash the feet, and so on. But in simple worship, then you may bathe the deities in a simple way. Then you put on the dress. And then after puja has to be done, you offer some flower, incense, ghee lamp, and something to eat. So it may be done in a simple way, but the process, it's nice to learn the process and to follow the process of worshipping the Lord. It may be simple. And while doing the seva, you can chant the holy names, or of course sometimes devotees, they may hear a lecture to be concentrated or whatever. So that may be done also. But basically we have to be, focused on the Lord and remember the Lord, preferably his pastimes, or we may just chant Hare Krishna. So, is that all right? Any other question? Krivi?
Yes, Krivi Brew.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes.
Prabhuji, my question is, can we offer our deities woolen clothes?
Yes, of course, in the winter when it's cold, you can have some woolen cloth, some woolen chadar, or even you may have a kind of sweater for the deities when it's cold. Why not? It's cold. We're having woolen cloth, and wool is pure that you can use for the deities, no problem. Usually the dress is silk dress for the deities, of course good quality cotton, but usually it's silk. But in the winter when it's cold you can use woolen cloth also, no problem, can be done. So one question was there also, if it was shown on the screen, do we put peacock feather on Gauranga's turban? Sometimes, no problem. But you don't have to put every day, unless the spiritual master is telling, like Prabhupada, he told Janani was in Mayapur, who was many years head pujari, that you put the peacock feather on Mahaprabhu's crown or turban to show that he is non different from Krishna. Whereas his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, mostly in his temples in the Gaudiya Math, so they do not put peacock feather, because in reality Mahaprabhu is hardly putting peacock feather. Because although he's not different from Radha and Krishna, he's Krishna but with the mood and lust of Radharani. And there is a devotee going out to Krishna, Krishna. So therefore, mostly Mahaprabhu is not is not having a peacock feather in his crown or turban, only sometimes. And even sometimes just like, because that is Krishna is known for that he's wearing a peacock feather and he has a flute always. But even the other gopas sometimes they see when the peacocks they leave the feathers, then they're picking out the peacock feather and putting on the turban, just like Krishna, but not every day. So Mahaprabhu also sometimes he may see also in Navadip a peacock feather on the ground. Oh, beautiful! Oh, Krishna likes peacock feather, and he will put on his turban or on the crown. No problem. Sometimes, but not always. Not that every day he has a peacock feather. But Krishna is known for that every day he has a peacock feather in his turban or in the crown. Sometimes he doesn't have a turban or a crown, but he has just a top knot. Even Mahaprabhu, putting the hair up and then a little pearl kind of necklace, but they put on the top. They make a top knot and have a pearl kind of necklace around to hold it together, and then a peacock feather there. That is explained also in the scriptures. Sometimes Mahaprabhu is doing like that, but he doesn't have a peacock feather. And sometimes Krishna is doing, and then he has a peacock feather. So Mahaprabhu may have a peacock feather or may not have. So either one is fine. Yeah. Yes. Manasi Devi Dasi.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, my question is, do we put peacock feather on Jagannath and then Giriraj?
Yeah. Yes, Jagannath. And there again, you see who is Jagannath. Jagannath is Dwarkadish. Krishna, but Krishna in Dwarka. Krishna in Dwarka, normally he doesn't have the flute and he doesn't have a peacock feather. He's the king of Dwarka. He doesn't have the flute and he doesn't have the peacock feather. But sometimes he may use the flute. When he's feeling separation from Krishna. Jagannath is actually Krishna feeling separation from himself in Braj. So then sometimes he may have the flute. He may pick up the flute. Oh, Krishna is remembering the gopis especially. But then he's remembering, oh, I'm Dwarkadish, I don't need the flute. And the queens are there. And so on. Sometimes he may have the peacock feather, but hardly. So we don't have to put. At the same time, sometimes you may put, remembering that he's Krishna and that he's remembering that he's, his form of Krishna and Braj. They're simultaneously non-different and different. In the spiritual world, Krishna is in Golok and Krishna is in Mathura and Krishna is in Dwarka simultaneously. And then Navadip is there also. In this world, so Krishna is manifest in Braj first, and then in Mathura, and then in Dwarka. So that is there. And Govardhan Shila, so Govardhan Shila, you may worship Govardhan Shila as Krishna, and then he's a peacock feather. You may worship Govardhan as Balaram, and then you don't put the peacock feather, because Balaram is not always having peacock feather. You may worship Giriraj as Radharani also, sometimes it is done also, or as Mahaprabhu, and then you may not put, or as, but he's actually devotee of Krishna. Haridasya Varya. Govardhan, Giri Govardhan is a devotee of Krishna, but he may be worshipped as Krishna. That is there in the pastime. And the Bhagavatam it is mentioned, and Prabhupada is explained, the devotees, they take the stones and pebbles from Govardhan and worship just like Krishna. And also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he got the Shila when he was in Jagannath Puri, and he gave the Shila to Raghunath Das Goswami, and he was telling him, and this Govardhan Shila is directly Brajendra Nandan Krishna. So you can, when you worship him as Krishna, you give him a peacock feather and give him the flute. But he may be worshipped as devotee, and he's a devotee, Haridasya Vaya, the best of the devotees. And then he doesn't have a flute.
Prabhuji, sometimes
And peacock feather,
I
yes.
have these mukut pieces
Yes.
which has a lot of peacock feathers.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah, yes.
so can we use those on Balaram, the turban of Balaram?
Yeah, you may use also sometimes, no harm. Yeah. When you, if you have Krishna Balaram, or you have Jagannath Baladev Subhadra, or
In the temple I dress Jagannath Baldev Subhadra.
Yeah.
So on Baldev, sometimes I am.
yeah, sometimes you can use, no problem.
Sometimes.
Yeah, because in Braj also, because same thing, Balaram and Jagannath, they are the Krishna Balaram in the mood of and remembering their forms in Braj. And then sometimes they have peacock feathers, so sometimes you can put. But no need to put every day. But for Krishna and Braj, he must have every day peacock feather. Okay? Okay. Haridyan?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
I want to ask you that is it really important for deities to be pran pratishthat? Because my deities are not really pran pratishthat.
Pran pratishthat.
Sacred bhavans and
Yeah. Well, you see, deities are there usually to be installed, usually. Usually deities are installed. They're there to be installed, and then you worship them when they're installed, usually. But you know, sometimes children, they want to have deities, and then, you know, but what seva they can do, how much seva they can do. And sometimes small deities are brought for the children, and then you may not install, and then they're just like pictures. But if you want to be seriously doing deity worship, it's better to install, and then the seva is going done regularly. Otherwise, they're just like pictures. Okay, you may worship the picture or not. If the deities are not installed, you may worship them and may not worship them. So, but then according to that, there also, you see, if you're not installing them, sometimes you worship them and sometimes not, and then the reciprocation will be also accordingly. If they're not installed, then Krishna is not completely present. That's all. But if the deities are installed, then Krishna is fully present, and then the reciprocation is there. But then you have to do the seva nicely, otherwise Krishna will not be happy. If you don't do the seva nicely and they are installed, and Krishna, hey, what's going on?
so Krishna is not accepting the seva that I'm doing.
If they are not installed,
Yes, they're not installed, so Krishna is not accepting the seva.
no, Krishna can accept also. Yes, even they are not installed. You see, Krishna is practically all-pervading. Krishna is all-pervading. So if you have some deity or picture, and even the seva is not going on regularly, but if you're offering to Krishna, Krishna can accept. So Krishna is very merciful, and he's reciprocating, just like a child. He's doing little something and Krishna is reciprocating. But ultimately you have to grow up and do the seva nicely. And then there's more reciprocation. the more one is advanced, the more there's a reciprocation. And then you can feel that also. So even if the deities are not installed, then you do some seva, so Krishna may accept. Krishna is, yeah. But then you have to see also then, after some time, Krishna is expecting more. And you have to have the proper consciousness, and then Krishna will accept. So if a neophyte devotee is doing some offering, and a pure devotee is doing an offering, there's a difference there. In the cooking and then in the offering also. And then it becomes more potent. If a pure devotee is cooking some items and offering to Krishna, the Mahaprasadam is wow. If a devotee is, has material desires and is thinking, okay, I'm making this and then I will enjoy, and is thinking about this and that and this problem, that problem, then then it is offered somehow, Krishna is somehow accepting, and it is some kind of prasadam. But if a pure devotee is cooking and an offering, that is fully accepted by Krishna, and that is Mahaprasadam. Otherwise it is prasad to some extent, and some purification is there. So that should be understood. Is it all right?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes. Yes.
Prabhuji, I have one more question.
Yes.
Prabhuji, the Drum Utsav for my deities is coming in between the winter month on 15th of December.
Okay.
So, can we bathe the deities with Panchamrit? Will they feel cold during season if we go according to the Bhav?
Yeah. Usually when we have Brahmotsav, the deities are installed. That is known as Brahmotsav that day. Then we should do Abhishek. But you can, if it is a home, you can keep it simple. And for example, if it is in the house, then usually the house is heated, right? And then the water which you use, or even if you do Panchamrit, you can do also, but you heat up the milk. And you make, for example, you have the yogurt, and you can mix a little warm water, so it is not too cold. And then you can heat up the ghee a little bit. Even the honey, if the honey is liquid, you can heat it up slightly. But honey usually it doesn't matter so much, because it is, by nature it is warm. And then sugar water or gur water, you heat up a little bit. And you don't use too much of milk and yogurt and whatever, because when it's cold, you don't want to bathe too long. So you don't want to offer too many items. And you quickly dry them up, and you put on the dress quickly and some warm cloth, and then you then you have a nice offering. Nice rice and dal and hot sabji and fresh chapatis and some hot halwa, sweet rice, so you'll be okay. Okay? All right. Madhuri? Madhuri?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I have Jagannath and Subhadra deities.
Yes.
So actually, I'm not able to change their clothes every day here.
Okay.
It's 15 days, more than 15 days sometimes. So is it okay or?
Well, no, it's not okay. Better you do more often. Do once a week. Do once a week.
I have small child in the home.
You have a small child.
3 months old. So
Oh, it keeps you busy.
Yes.
Okay. Well, your husband is there?
Yes, but he will not able to change their clothes.
Okay, then you do one thing. Sunday usually he's free, right? He has chutti on Sunday. Tell him to take care of the kid for half an hour. And then you do the dressing. Okay?
So ideal time, what will be the ideal time for the changing clothes?
Well, you do the seva of the puja dressing before you take breakfast. Okay? It may be 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock at home. You don't have to worry so much the time. No big issue the time at home. In the temple you must be fixed with the time, but at home you have to be practical, and Krishna is very merciful at home. More merciful than in the temple. And the temple is expecting that everything is on time. At home it is more casual and informal, and Krishna is understanding. Oh, my dear devotee Madhuri has a little kid, and then so the kid is, he's crying, and then she will do the dressing after. Krishna understands. He's most intelligent person, and he's seeing what's happening. Huh?
Every day it should be done.
What?
Tracing.
Well, that is first class, but if you have a kid and you have to take care of the house, your husband, if you do once a week is fine. But every 2 weeks it's a little bit too long, because there's so much dust maybe there on the cloth. And
Every Ekadashi to Ekadashi, I can change.
yeah, but if you can do once a week is better.
Okay,
Yeah.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Because actually Krishna is taking bath every day, by the way, right? And then he's putting on the dress, every day he's changing his dress. And mostly you bathe the child also every day, right? And give him a new dress every day. So to speak of Krishna.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji. Thank you very much for
Okay.
this discussion and for
Yeah.
taking the question answer. I
Okay.
think question answer
Fine.
was very vital.
Yes.
At the same time, your talk was very enlightening and very encouraging to all the devotees here who are taking this training on this troublemaking course.
Okay.
I'd like to express our gratitude, Prabhuji, and seek your association again and again
Fine,
for
sure.
these upcoming sessions.
Okay.
So, devotees, all of us will let's chant one time Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for His Grace Bhupandat Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Prabhuji, there's one question is, can you share the mantra in group, please, for Jagannath? So, yeah, so for Jagannath, there may be different mantras there that you can look also up. Deity worship manual may be there. Or there's one include for everyone. Om Nilacha Nivasa Nitya Paramatmane Balabadam Sabadabdyam Jagannatayate Namaha. So that you can maybe share later on, because actually I have another class now. So, okay, so you can share that mantra. Okay? Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay. Okay, fine. Keep it here, no problem. You can keep my book here. Okay, this is on here? Okay. Jaiva Dharma. Hare Krishna. So reading from Jaiva Dharma of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, 9th chapter, Nitya Dharma. So Advaita, our devotee from Shantipur, who got initiated by Babaji Maharaj. So one of his friends from childhood, Digambar, met him, and so they are having some discussion. Advaita is a devotee of Mahaprabhu and Krishna, and this Digambar was a devotee of Durga Devi. So, of course, Advaita always remaining humble, and so, but in explaining that Durga Devi is not the ultimate, the supreme power, but Krishna is the supreme power, Shaktiman, and Durga Devi is the energy, the eternal potency of the Lord. And of course, ultimately, the original potency, that is Srimati Radharani. So discussion is going on. So Advaita, my brother, you have become infatuated with this material Shakti, Durga Devi. So two kinds of Shakti. One is the internal potency. So Haladini Shakti, Srimati Radharani, the original potency or energy of the Lord. And then different manifestations are there. Lakshmi Devis are there, Bhu, Nila Shakti and so on, Lila Shakti and so on. And even, of course, the internal potency of the Lord is there, Yoga Maya. Also, sometimes the word Durga that refers to the internal potency. There in the Radha Sahasranam, the name Durga is there also, addressing Srimati Radharani. So, but then normally in this world, a materialistic persons that are worshipping Durga Devi, the external potency of the Lord, in order to get some material benefits. So if there is an all-knowing Bhagavan, then what will happen to you after that? What is happiness? Happiness is peace of mind. I've given up all material pleasure and found happiness in inner peace. So that there's material happiness and then there's spiritual happiness. And real happiness is spiritual happiness in relation with the Lord. When Krishna is in the center, God is in the center, and then in loving exchange, then the happiness is there. And inner peace will be there. If there is anything more to be achieved after that, so I will attain that as well. So a devotee is happy in this world because he's serving the Lord, and after that he may go to the eternal abode of the Lord, and then he will experience unlimited happiness, eternal happiness. So, but even a pure devotee in this world is always connected with the Lord. He's free from the modes of material nature, so he's experiencing spiritual happiness even in this world. The more one is advanced, the more one can experience a spiritual happiness, a spiritual bliss. You are not satisfied. The more you try to enjoy, the more your thirst for material pleasure expands. That is in the material world. Even one has a lot of money, still that will not make him happy, simply the money. So actually, if one is in the mode of goodness, then he will find more happiness. So one may be a millionaire. If he's in the mode of goodness, he's more happy. If he's in the mode of passion, he will be less happy because he wants more and more. He's not satisfied. If he's in ignorance, he will be less happy. Even if he has $1 million or he's a crorepati. But according to the consciousness, then the happiness will be there. In the material world also. So, but then the real happiness is there for the devotee who is engaged in the service of the Lord. So he's telling this person, you do not even know what is happiness. Material happiness is external and very flickering, very shallow. You're simply drifting in the current of sensuality and calling out pleasure, pleasure. But one day you will fall into an ocean of sorrow, Digambar. Whatever will be my fate will be. But why have you abandoned the association of cultured man? Advaita, I have not renounced the association of cultured man. Rather, that is precisely what I have obtained. I am trying to give up the association of degenerate man. So even in the material world, so-called a cultured man may be there according to material estimation. They may have money, they may have a nice dress, they may have a nice house, a nice car, a good occupation. They may be then considered cultured. But if they are not devoted to God, they are actually not cultured. If they are eating meat, they are drinking, they are not cultured, they are degraded. So cultured person, Sajan, cultured person. So those who are worshipping the Lord, they are cultured, Sajan, cultured person. They are nice, they are well behaved, they are gentle, and then they are following the injunctions of the scriptures. If one is following the injunctions of the scriptures, the Vedic scriptures or the Vaishnava scriptures, then he is truly a cultured man. A cultured man, so he's regulated, he's worshipping the Lord. Then he's really cultured. And then usually then he will be nicely dressed with dhoti, and everyone wearing dhoti. What happened to your dhoti? Okay. You're busy in something else today. Okay.
Nowadays.
Huh? Nowadays. Okay. Where's your dhoti? At home. Okay. Okay, no problem. Yeah. But nice, yeah, that is. So that is usually, if you see, so cultured person, really cultured person, devotee, he will have dhoti and chadar, kurta. But of course, if devotee has to work somewhere, so then he will have, sometimes he's not allowed to wear devotional cloth. And then, but then in the morning and evening he should wear devotional cloth as much as possible. So that is a cultured person. He will take bath every day in the morning. A cultured person in the West, maybe even in India, the cities now, sometimes they don't take bath every day. But that is not cultured. A cultured person will take bath every day in the morning. Prata snan.
Only once a day?
No, minimum once a day. But you may take 2 times also, 3 times, no problem. Brahmana may take 2 times or sometimes 3 times. But it is mentioned the sannyasi should take 3 times. Grihastha 2 times, brahmachari 1 time. That's enough. Brahmachari is busy whole day. He doesn't have time. Even sometimes, of course, sannyasi, if they're preaching, sometimes they may not take bath 3 times. So we have to see practical. And the main thing is to chant Hare Krishna. So, but then some rules and regulations, but at least every morning one has to take bath. Of course, if one has to go to bathroom for evacuation, then he has to take bath also. That is there. So that is a cultured person, he's following some regulative principles according to the scriptures. Okay, so how do you define degenerate association? Advaita, please hear without becoming angry and I will tell you. Srimad Bhagavatam says, 4th canto, 30th chapter, text number 33, also quoted in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Yavate mayaya sprishta brahmama iha karmabi tavad bhava prasanganam sangasya no bhave bhave. O Bhagavan, we pray that as long as we are bewildered by your illusory potency and are wandering in material existence, under the influence of our karmic activities, we may have the association of your premi bhaktas birth after birth. It is said in Hari Bhakti Vilas, Asad visa sangastu nakattavya kadachana yasmat sarvartha hanihi syad ada patascha jayate. One should never associate with people who are immersed in non-reality, for by such association one is deprived of all worthwhile objects of attainment and falls down to a degraded position. The Katyayan Samhita states, Varam utavaha jvala panjarantar vyavastitihi na shauri chinta vimukka jana samvasa vaishasam. Also quoted in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Even if I should die in a blazing fire or be trapped for all time in a cage, I still do not want the company of persons averse to thinking of Krishna. So in other words, we should associate with the devotees who are serving the Lord, who are speaking about the Lord. So every other association is not desirable. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 31st chapter, Satyam socham dayamonam bhudir hir shriyar yashakshama samudama bhagascheti yat sangat yat sankshamyam teshu asanteshu mudeshu kandidatma svasadasu asadusu sangam nakaryach chacheshu joshi krira mrigeshu cha. If one associates with those who are devoid of virtue and of virtue, one's good qualities such as truthfulness, cleanliness, mercy, restraint of speech, intelligence, shyness, wealth, fame, forgiveness, control, of the senses, control of the mind and fortune completely fade away. So one may be a cultured person, one may have good qualities, but if one is associating with those devoid of good qualities, then one may actually be influenced, and then one may lose one's good qualities. So association is important. Asat sangatyag. So unwanted association should be given up. Satovrite, and be the association of the saintly persons. Therefore one should never associate with disgraceful people who are agitated by desires for sense enjoyment, who are foolish, who are engrossed in the bodily conception of life, and who are playthings in the hands of women. It is said in the Garuda Purana, Antargatopi Vedanam Sarva Shastartha Vedyapi Yuna Sarveshwareshwara Bhaktastam Vidyat Purushadamam. One may have studied all the Vedas and be acquainted with the meaning of all the Shastras, but if he is not a devotee of Sri Hari, he should be understood as the lowest of man. So devotee of the Lord is exalted. Otherwise one is considered to be low class. And as mentioned here, even if one may be a Brahmana by birth and may study the scriptures, but if he's not worshipping the Lord, then there's no use of his study of the scriptures, and he is considered low. And on the other hand, swapachak, even a dog eater, but if he's giving up his bad habits and is worshipping the Lord, then he becomes rectified, he becomes purified, he becomes more exalted than a Brahmana who is not worshipping the Lord. Also, other verse from Hari Bhakti Vilas, which is from Bhagavatam, 6th canto. Prayaschitani chirnani narayana paranmukam na nispunananti rajendra sura kumbam ivapagaha. O king, just as the water of many rivers cannot purify a wine pot, similarly a person who is averse to Sri Narayan cannot become purified by all the different types of atonement, even if they are executed perfectly again and again. So, yes, a pot in which wine was put cannot be purified. You can throw it away. Even if you wash with water, a pot in which there was wine, that will not become purified. Similarly, even if one is a so-called Brahmana, and performing some ritualistic activities and doing prayashchit, some atonement for his activities, which may not be proper. But if he is averse to the Lord, then there is practically no use of that. Only by worshipping the Lord one becomes actually purified in existence. So that should be understood. Of course, sometimes the Mayavadis are there and they want to merge in the impersonal Brahman. So, of course, then they study the scriptures. Sometimes they may worship the deity form of the Lord, but with the idea to merge in impersonal Brahman. So, but which is not easy actually, and very rare that one may be successful and merge in the Brahmajyoti, which is ultimately then of your use. So it is said in the Skanda Purana, also quoted in Hari Bhakti Vilas, Hanti nindanti navaidveshti vaishnavan nabinandati kuddate yati no harsham darshane patanani syat. The 6 causes of fall down are to beat a Vaishnav, to slander him, to be a malice against him, to fail to welcome or please him, to display anger towards him, and to not feel pleasure upon seeing him. Digamba, a person can never attain auspiciousness through these types of immoral association. What possible benefit can one gain by living in a society composed of such men? Digambar. Well now, what a distinguished gentleman I have come to speak with. You should certainly stay amidst the pure Vaishnavas. I am going to my own house. Advaita Das felt that his exchange with Digambar was drawing to a close, and that it would be appropriate to conclude on a pleasant note. In a courteous mood he said, "You are my childhood friend. I know you must return home, but I don't want you to go just yet. You have come all this way, so please stay for a while. Take some prasad and then you may go." Digambar, Karidas. "You know very well that I follow a strict diet. I only eat havishya, and I had a meal just before coming here." Havishya, that is rice and dal. Those Havishya. Yeah, it is called sometimes Havishya. Yeah. No, not in wild. Sometimes for Katyayani Vrat. But some they follow also in doing even doing Chaturmas like Andhra Prabhu, he was taking Khichari every day, Havishyan. Sometimes called Havishya or Havishyan. For those who do Katyayani Vrat sometimes, of course, Andhra Prabhu was doing, but yet our acharyas have not done. But if one is doing, I mean, it's no harm. You may do, you may not do. But the gopis, not the eternal associates of Krishna, Radharani and Lalita Vishaka, they never did Katyayani Vrat, no need. But other gopis who by performing austerities, there were sadakas, practicing devotees, then they attain their sarup as a gopi, and then in order to attain Krishna's association, they were performing Katyayani Vrat. And so at that time, Havishyan is taken. So for Chaturmas, some persons are taking just Khichari, or for Purushottamas, or even sometimes the priests, when they have to do a yagya, and so then in the evening, for example, so then during the day they may take some fruits or Havishyan, Khichari. And, so that is a simple diet that is actually then purifying the body also. And usually in that they don't even use any ghee, they may just use a little salt. I only Havishya, and I had a meal just before coming here. However, it was a pleasure to see you. I will come again if I find the time. I cannot stay overnight because I have some duties to perform according to the system given to me by my guru. Take my leave for today. Advaita, very well. I shall see you off to the boat. Let us go. No, carry on with your own business. I have some men with me. Digambar then went away singing a song about Goddess Kali. And Advaita was able to chant Sri Nam in his kutir without further obstruction. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Any question?
Yeah.
Yes.
You said that people usually worship Durga Devi for some material benefits, right? But why in the south there are so many temples for Durga Devi? There's so many. Always wow, why exactly in the south of India?
In the south.
Yeah, I mean I saw.
And Bengal also.
Yeah, right.
The many worshipping Durga Devi. Yeah. It's mostly because they have some material desires, and so they want some material benefit, or sometimes they just like this person, Digambar. I was thinking that Durga Devi, so Nistarini, Nistar means one who is delivering. So they think that Durga Devi is the supreme goddess, and so sometimes even they may think that they may attain liberation from this material world. Different persons with different motives may worship Durga Devi also. So that may be there. Not that everyone who is worshipping Durga is just for material benefits. So but some they may think that they can become liberated from this material existence. So different persons are there with different understandings, different motives may be there. So So even those who worshiping Krishna, some are worshiping Krishna, of course, then to attain perfection in life, to become liberated from material existence, to enter the pastimes of the Lord. But some, in the beginning, so they're worshiping Krishna as the Lord, but also then to get to some material benefit. So then maybe there also. And then they ask Krishna to fulfill their material desires. They may be there. And so different persons with different motives, they worship different personalities. So in the south, even so more in Bengal, Bengal is famous for having so many devotees who worship Durga Devi. You worship Durga Devi before? No? Yeah? So, but we show respect to Durga Devi, and we see that, and we pray to her to become free from the external, from her clutches, so we can serve nicely Krishna.
I mean, why it is like conditioned geographically,
Geographically?
like Bengal, I know here, right? Here,
Well, even here, also in North India, they are all over India. The worshippers of Durga Devi, all over India, not only in the south and Bengal, even northern India also. Even in the west. Yeah. Vaishnavi Devi is there, and so many names are there of Durga Devi. All over India they worship Durga Devi. And she had different names are there of Durga Devi. And many are worshipping Shiva. So, but those who are fortunate, they will worship Krishna or Narayan or Ram. So if one is understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, so he's most fortunate. So we are very fortunate that we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And if one is nicely engaged, he is more fortunate. If one is fully engaged in Krishna's loving service, then one is most fortunate. So Durga Devi is the external potency, and so keeping the conditioned souls in this material world. And then also it is mentioned that Durga Devi is also trying to sometimes test the transcendentalists who are trying to become free, trying to advance in spiritual life. She's trying to pull them down. So that I forgot the Sanskrit, the names are there. So one Shakti is she putting everyone in the material world, and with the second one, so she's pulling out those who are trying to go up. So we show respect to Durga Devi, the external potency, and we try to be always engaged in Krishna Seva. Then we can pray to her to become free from the external energy, the modes of material nature, and so we can serve Krishna. So ultimately, so that is her service. And Durga Devi, she has to do her service. So she's also considered to be a devotee of the Lord. But then we take shelter of the internal potency, especially Srimati Radharani. And then by taking shelter of Srimati Radharani, then automatically we become free from the external energy. And we have to pranam to Durga Devi. So there's also one verse is there. So even if she offers liberation, you want to become liberated, or you want anything, the devotee, no, thank you, Hare Krishna, we simply want to be engaged in Krishna Seva. But we take shelter of the internal potency, Srimati Radharani, Ashai Vigraha, the abode of love, and then we can serve Krishna, we can satisfy Krishna. So of course in the beginning we have to take shelter of the spiritual master. He's also Ashai Vigraha. He's the abode of love. He's a representative of Krishna, representative of Radharani, representative of Mahaprabhu. So, anything else? question?
Nice.
Nice smell, huh?
Pizza.
Primitive.
Oh, yeah, okay. But still it has to be offered first. So you have to wait. It's not yet for you to enjoy. First Krishna.
There is a description of Shambhu, how
Of what?
Shambhuling
Yeah.
in the creation. If you can please elaborate on that, like how Shambhuling appears and how is he creating this material?
Rama Devi.
Yeah, that is mentioned in the Brahma Samhita.
I'm kind of forgetting.
Yeah. So yes, Shambhu is there, so he's a manifestation of the Lord for helping in the creation of this material world and for the destruction. So Durga Devi also, Shambhu and Rama Devi or Durga Devi. So and so the divine halo that is mentioned in the Brahma Samhita. So Krishna is the source of everything and Radharani the original Shakti. But then the expanded form are there of Krishna in many manifestations. Vishnu and Lakshmi Devis are there. And then so Sadashiv is there, Vishnu Murti and Lakshmi Devi are there. And then for the purpose of the creation, so then Mahashankishan is there, and from him Karunadaksha Vishnu is coming, and then Garudaksha Vishnu, Kshiradaksha Vishnu at that time. Then for the purpose, because Krishna is transcendental, Vishnu is transcendental to the material world. But at the same time, then the material world has to manifest. And so for the purpose of the manifestation of this material world, then Shambhu is there, is manifested. So by the will of Krishna, then through Karunadaksha Vishnu, then material universes are manifested, and then Shambhu is also manifested there, and then Rama Devi ultimately, so which is then, of course, this the original, so the Lakshmi Devi, but then the expanded form, so Rama Devi, which is then Durga Devi is there for the purpose of the creation of this material world, and therefore the Shambhu, the ling is there, and so that is representing this for the purpose of the manifestation of this world. And then the yoni is there, so Rama Devi, and then by the combination of that, then the material existence is then manifested. And then in the universe, so then Garvadaksha Vishnu is manifested, the expanded form of Mahavishnu, and then from his navel lotus flower is manifested, and then Lord Brahma is sitting on that place, the lotus flower, which is then the Brahmalok or Satyalok, and then so Lord Brahma then, by the will of the Lord, so is then the secondary creator, and then he's manifesting the different forms in this world, and the different living entities that are entering the different forms which are manifested then by Brahma. So Shambhu and Rama Devi, they are there, so for the purpose of the manifestation of this material world, so in the material universes. So in each universe, so they are there, Shambhu and Rama Devi. And then of course different manifestations are there also of Lord Shiva. So that is then the Shivling and the Yoni, so for the purpose of creation. And then, so after then, so they are manifested in many places, many times self-manifest. Shivling is there, and then Yoni, and then so given opportunity for persons in this world to, and there's a process of worshipping them, So, and but then mostly they will worship for material benefits, but the more devotees, they may respect them, and then also they may worship, or in a simple way, offer respect to Shambhu and Ramadevi, so they may become free from the material entanglement, and so they may be able to serve the Lord. So, Srimad Gopeshwaram Vande Shankara Karunamayam Savaklesha Haram Devam Vrindaranya Rati Pradam. So we pray to Gopeshwar also in order to become free from all difficulties, in order to get Rati, to get affection for Vrindavan, and then for the divine couple. So, and of course, then so different manifestations are there of Shiva also, and is the presiding deity of the ego, also false ego, and then maybe there to become free from false ego, we pray to him. And of course, there's different kinds of false ego in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And sometimes, so even the Lord, or maybe also having their role to play. So of course, Vishnu is there to maintain, and ultimately Vishnu, by his will, then it is created and annihilated. So the material manifestation. So helping hand is there of Shiva and or Shambhu or Ramadevi, and then at the end, Shiva is there. So so Shiva is there. Then Tandam Nritya is there at the end of the creation. So that is a form of Shiva. And of course, sometimes it is mentioned they maybe have one head or 3 head or even 5 head, different forms of Shiva there. And of course, Durga Devi also, she may have just 2 arms, but is a form of with 8 arms also, Durga Devi. So different manifestations are there of Shiva and of Durga Devi. The 11 Rudras are there, and they're doing different things. So, so you have to take care of this universe. Is a big place, right? The universe. We need many personalities, and then the demigods are there. But the most exalted of all is actually Lord Shiva, who is not Vishnu Tattva, and is also he's in between Shiva, Vishnu Tattva and Jiva Tattva. Special manifestation. But so he's also a devotee of the Lord ultimately, an empowered personality, and also a spiritual master. So the Rudra Sampradaya is there. So Shiva is the Adi Guru, and so he has a Sampradaya. Yatha Vaishnavam Shambhu is the greatest Vaishnava also. So he's absorbed in remembering Radha Krishna. He knows also Mahaprabhu. He's remembering Mahaprabhu. And also, as we know from his lotus mouth, Radha Kripa Kataksha Stotra Manetat Muninda Vinda Vandite Triloka Shoka Hari Prasanna Vatta Pankajeni Kunja Bhuvilasini Vajendra Bhanu Nandini Vajendra Sunu Sangate Kada Karishyasi Hamam Kripa Kadaksha Bhajana Makeshwari Kriyeshwari Swareshwari Sureshwari Triveda Bharadishwari Pramana Shashaneshwari Rameshwari, Shameshwari, Pramoda Kananeshwari, Brajeshwari, Brajadipeshwari, Radhike Namostute. So it's a great Vaishnava. Yatha Vaishnavam Shambhu. So different manifestations. Is that somehow fine? Or something else? So we had lots of manifestation.